receiving feedback or valuable feedback is very important in helping yourself become a bigger asset towards other people, but even to yourself, right? Ultimately, we're looking to understand how we can improve ourselves as individuals, which will then thus improve everyone around you, the people you're working with, the people you're hanging out with. So in this video, we're going to be deciphering what the difference is between good feedback, negative feedback, and how we can only use our energy towards this positive feedback once we are able to distinguish which is which. Feedback can come from a various number of sources, right? We have friends, family, we have peers at work, at school, we have randomers, all these different avenues where feedback can come flying in at you. It's an opportunity for you to improve, but also this is where the distinguishing of good versus negative feedback comes from, right? So to establish what the difference is between a good or a bad piece of feedback, a positive or a negative piece of one, is first off understanding who's telling you, right? Feedback shouldn't come across an insult. And if you take it as an insult, potentially that's something you need to look at and self-reflect on, because most of the time, if someone's giving you feedback in the correct manner, they're trying to help you improve in some way, right? Whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, through your work, at the gym, at school. These are different places where feedback can be given and to try and help you improve, right? So if you are taking an offense to someone's feedback, that's an issue with yourself. And this is where we're going to talk about the difference between the issue of the feedback or the issue with you, right? So it's important to understand if someone tells you at work or school, this was rubbish, that's not feedback, right? That is an insult because they haven't explained why. Feedback always is followed with a why, right? You've got the X is rubbish, X is bad, X needs working on, but it's the why that follows is the most vital part, because this part here is what allows us to move from this level to up here, right? Because without this why, how do we know what to do? How do we know where to work on? So if I go up to someone and say, "Oh, this artwork looks terrible," okay, that's their opinion. That's an opinion, right? I haven't suggested how to improve. I've just given my opinion, and depending on the person, depending on the people that hear this feedback, they react to it differently. And you want to get to a point where someone can say this about you to your artwork, for example, in this example, and if it's a randomer like me just walking across saying that song, I should be able to just deflect that. As an artist, I should be able to deflect that and be like, right, I know I'm good. But at the same time, this is where the distinguishing comes in, where you need to understand, right, if I'm viewing it from a third point of view or listening and actually looking over what I've done, take into account what they've actually said. Like I just said before, this isn't feedback, however. This is just someone's opinion. Whereas if, let's say, an artist or an art teacher has come and said, "Oh, this could be improved in XYZ," that's someone you want to keep around, because not only are they giving you their honest opinion, they're giving you a why and a how to overcome their opinion, their negative opinion. This is feedback, and this is what you want to use to your advantage and not take insult to it. Whereas when I've said something to you negatively with no why and no how, just a negative opinion, there's not much you can do apart from look at it and try and gauge where you've gone wrong potentially, or even ignore it and be confident in yourself. There's a fine line between the confidence and being very egotistical and very in your own league, in your own head. But making sure, first off, we understand the difference between this feedback and then just the negative opinions is the first step, right? So now we've got our feedback and we've got now our why and our how. Use this. Use it to your advantage and become a better person in this niche overall, in thinking, being able to adapt to these different situations and being able to absorb as much feedback as possible to become more efficient in what you want to be good at and what you want to enjoy life in. These are different aspects that we should be trying to combine together, and you should learn to love feedback, right? All about the title. Learn to love and appreciate the feedback people give to you. Feedback, for one, is rare, but genuinely good feedback is even rarer. And whenever someone gives that to you, study it like a book. Make sure you understand everything they've said and go back over it and check what you could have done here, what you could have done there. Once you get to that point, And once you have that person that's giving you that feedback, that's so good to you. Don't take offense to it. Yes, you maybe could have done better. Use it and improve on to the next one, right? Don't let it shut you down, shut your confidence down and close you off. Use it to sprout even further, right? So the ability to love this feedback that people are giving you allows you to elevate this skill that we've talked about, for example, artwork, or if you're in the workplace, to elevate your skills and hone in on them at the workplace. Learn new things in your company, in your industry, in your area of expertise. There's always a chance to learn, right? And I think if you seeking out feedback, or even just seeking and trying to absorb and learn as much as you can, you're going to skyrocket in improvement, and your confidence shouldn't be shunned away. It shouldn't be shut off from growing. It should be almost using these feedbacks as steps and jumping up, right? Feedback here, jump onto it. Next one, jump, 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 and you're going up and up and up in skill, right? And in confidence. The confidence shouldn't be, you shouldn't be hitting your head on each step and falling down. You should be jumping on them and going up and up and up, because this feedback is allowing you to learn more, do more, and it's fun and it's exciting. And the even better thing is, once you learn to love this feedback, you're able to decipher the negative comments and opinions versus the feedback. And if someone comes up to you and says, this is rubbish, you can say, okay, that's all right, I understand. Everyone has their own opinion. If they don't give a how and a why, you can look at it and try and look at it from their point of view. But you know in your head that the feedback you've been given throughout your days, your life, has led so far to this point. You're doing all right. You can push away that negativity. You don't need it. There's no point wasting energy on it. Getting to this point is something that we should all be striving for, because like I said before, you'll just keep bouncing on these different feedbacks, these different steps almost, and you'll get to a point where not only you'll learn to love feedback, you're learning to love learning, as a previous video I mentioned up here. Once you do this, you're going to absorb so much more knowledge, and once again, this will help you live a fulfilling life, because you're learning more about anything and everything. And learning more about anything and everything, and learning to appreciate even the little things, will help you just appreciate every part of life, every part of your day, rather than just bits and bobs. You'll love waking up to the day, to the point you go to sleep. Every single moment you'll love something different, something new, something you already love doing. So learn to love the feedback from your peers, from your family, from the randomers as well. But also understand and distinguish the difference between negative opinions and feedback, and on top of that, genuinely good feedback. Because once you get given that how and why to improve, especially if someone's better than you, you should be almost delving into it straight away and seeing how you can improve there, improve over here, especially if someone's better than you. And someone that's actually doing better than you in this niche, for example, if it's possible to measure a scale of success in this niche, they'll never shut you down. They'll never give you just a negative opinion. They will always give you feedback. And remember that, because that's important. Leaving you with a quote as always. This is by Marie Houghtailing. Feedback is a free education to excellence. Seek it with sincerity and receive it with grace.